The purpose of this video is to talk about the Schoology expectations for grades DK through 5 with a specific look at this fourth expectation, which is teachers are to create folders in their courses for their students per content area and add curriculum resources for all classes in each course. We're going to take a look at how to do that. We're going to head over to the Schoology page. I'm going to find the course that's available to me and select that course. This course already has folders in it, but if it was a new course, I'd want to consider how I want to organize that. And one idea would be to organize it by your different curriculum areas. So we're going to go into Add Materials, add a folder. Now, if I'm going to organize it by curriculum area, I might want all those folders the same color, or I might want them each a different color that to me is associated with that content area. So if I make a math folder, I'm going to leave that math folder blue because my math books for my students are blue, and it will stand out to them and to parents, hopefully more with that association there. Now, I can add a description of this folder here. I can also add different content. Perhaps I want to add an image of our math book there. So I can do that by adding an image. That's an attached file that I would have already had to search up, or maybe a cutesy little math image that I could put on there to make it stand out to my parents. Typically, I do not put a date on this, but you might want to, especially if it's something that's specific to 1 year of math. So if I'm starting a new folder for this year's math, I might put that date on there. Now I can publish it now. I can leave it unpublished. Maybe it's something that I don't want them to see yet, or maybe it's something that I'm working on and it's not quite done. I can publish on a start date. So if it's a specific project that's going over a certain amount of time, maybe I would publish that on a certain start date or add a date range to that. So I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to publish it and press create. Even though it said published, I still have to hit create. When I create a new folder, it will appear at the bottom of my screen. Now I can use this to select that I want to edit it. I might want to unpublish it. I might want to move it to a different location. I might want to copy it to another course, especially if I had two courses set up where I wanted to share an assignment. Or I can save to my resources to be used at another time. That's also useful at the end of the year when I want to save that entire folder. Or I can delete it here as well. If I go into the folder by clicking it, this is where I want to create in that folder. Now, on the expectations, it did say that I want to add curriculum resources for all of my classes in each course. So that means for math, I want to make sure I'm adding resources to that folder so that the parents have some resources, but also so that the students are supported and they use those resources. So if I add materials, I can add a link. I can add any of these things, but right now I'm going to add a link. So I'm going to push add a link. And I find it especially helpful to have the Everyday Math website on there. So I just went and grabbed that link by copying the link. And I'm going to put that right here by pasting it in there. And I'm going to put Everyday Math. That's the name of that website. Now, I can align this with learning objectives. If I do that, I can simply go to Common Core Mathematics, and I could align it with, because I'm 5th grade, I can align it with 5th grade, but I don't have any specific learning objectives for this folder. So for this folder, I do not want to add a learning objective. If it says display in Schoology, then it's going to. If I hit it and it says display in a new window, then when they go to that folder, it will open up in a new window. But I want it to display in Schoology. Right now it's green and it says published to students. Here's an opportunity to change that. I can unpublish the link until I'm ready for them to use it, but this is a link that I want them to use all the time. So I press add, and this will show up just like this. Now perhaps I want to make a folder that is just Unit 1. So I'm going to add another folder within the folder. You might want to name it specifically to that unit. Now, I like to keep all of my math folders blue, but you select the colors that are the best for you to help you stay organized, also to help the students stay organized. So I'm going to publish this, and I end up with a folder within the folder. Now, another feature for that is to add a file. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a file. So I had a link, but this time I'm going to add a file, which allows me to go to my drives and go and find a file by saying attach file. Let's see if I can find the one that I want to use for this. Okay, and I can't find the specific math one, but let's pretend that this one is one that I want to add to that folder. I'm going to select that and then press open, and it will appear right here. Another way to add it is, I'm going to delete this. It says remove. And if I have it open down here at the bottom, I actually can drag it right there until that lights up. Oops, lit up green. And I'm going to drop it right on there. And again, it will appear there at the bottom that it says it's there. And I have that option again to align to learning objectives, which gives me the Common Core mathematics. That's nice for later when I'm assessing my students. But I'm going to add that. That will show up there. Now, let's pretend for a moment that this presentation is something that goes with Unit 1. I could have either made it within that folder, or I can move it. My destination, Math, Unit 1. I'm going to move that into the folder. So then it stays nice and organized. I do like this website up at the top so that it's nice and available all the time. But that is how you would add a link, add a file. There are other things that you can add in here too that we will talk about at another time. But one thing I do want to mention, that if you've made a resource in the past, it should be in your resource folders if you've saved it. So don't recreate the wheel every single time. Go into your resources and see if you've created it in the past. So if you see here that I have math, a folder within my resources, I already have resources for Unit 3 and 4 listed here. So I want to go there first before I create anything new. So to recap, we just looked at how to create folders in your course for your students per content area, and we added curriculum resources for the class. So I'm going to continue to do that by adding a folder for all of my content areas. And you can do that now as well.